Good afternoon. Today we will be talking about air pollution. So again, this topic falls into UPSC General Studies paper 3. It relates to the issue of environment. It also relates to the issue of health. It also relates to the issue of how economy has been made to grow. What are the steps that have been taken? We will also be talking about legislations that have been put into place and policies that have been put into place to tackle this problem of air pollution in India. In anything that we talk about going ahead, we should look at how it is related to sustainable development goals. That is also something that I will be trying to do over here. So let us try to end the discussion within 8 minutes. So whenever we are talking about, let us say, air pollution in any answer related to general studies, sort of start, if it's good, if we start with some kind of a definition or something. So you can talk about the fact that it's a major environmental health problem, air pollution. You can talk about the fact that it refers to, contamination of natural air by chemical, physical, or biological agents, not really helpful for human beings, animals, plant life, or for that matter, climate on our planet Earth. We can talk about the sources of air pollution, जिसके बारे में I will talk about आगे थोड़ा सा. And of course you can relate it to sustainable development goals. It's related to not one, not two, but three sustainable development goals. First one is relating to health, that what is the kind of disease burden that we are having because of air pollution. Now that is something that even government of India is very worried about, and we have come out with a report in 2016, or sorry, in 2017. We'll be talking about that report going ahead. Then it also relates to Sustainable Development Goal number 7.1.2 relating to clean fuel. This is again something that we are focusing upon. Then it also relates to urban air quality in 11.6.2. So if you are highlighting these things, you are making a very strong impression in front of the examiner. So now this is something that is relating to this image sort of talks about primary pollutants and secondary pollutants. So you can see, agriculture, you can see wildfire, you can see volcanoes, aeroplanes, factories, towns, homes, vehicle exhausts, and even for that matter your ocean liners. So you're releasing a lot of carbon monoxide, SO2, NO2, NH3, particulate matter 2.5, as well as 10 VOCs, nitric oxide, and so these primary pollutants sort of, when they are oxidized or when they are dissolved in water, lead to the generation of further more harmful chemicals. So now this is a huge problem that we have to basically tackle. So as I was saying to you, there was this report that was released by Government of India in 2017, and the name of that report is Health of Nation State. Now this is very important. This is government's own admission. It is its own report, so you cannot dispute it. If let us say Lancet comes out with a report, that report can be disputed, that those numbers are not really up to the mark. But this is government's report. What it says is that indoor air pollution has declined from 96, that is 1996, to 2016. Indoor air pollution has declined, but outdoor air pollution has increased. 10% of total disease burden in India is contributed by air pollution. Now that is second only to malnutrition related disease burden. So you can imagine that after, let us say, hunger and associated issues, air pollution is the biggest contributor of diseases, and it can increase dramatically going ahead, given the fact that India's urbanization, industrialization, as well as our extent of agriculture can only increase going ahead. Risk of air pollution is highest in the 8 empowered action group states. Now what are these empowered action group states? So you have Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, and Bihar. These are your 8 EAG states. These are the poorest of the states. So the poorest of the states are having the maximum problem. They will be at the highest amount of risk. You can imagine that the risk is concentrated where poor are concentrated in India. It doesn't really help the fact that I am sitting in my office, it is a sealed chamber, and I am making this video. I am not exposed to any air pollution as of now. But let us say if I'm a worker, I'm working at this tea stall right by the roadside, I'm exposed to serious problems. So this is the kind of issue that needs to be tackled, and the report blames these 5 sources. Now these 5 sources of pollution, this is what our development is all about. Our development is all about industrialization. It's all about increasing standards of living and people purchasing cars as a sign of luxury, as a sign of affluence. So now we need to sort of have a look at how we are pursuing development and how environmentally sustainable is it. And if it is not, then we take steps to make it environmentally sustainable. So, and again, now these are disputed numbers. So, if you look at numbers presented by Lancet, they say that approximately more than 1 million people have died in 2050 due to air pollution. Now, this is the exact number that government of India has disputed. And how exactly have you extrapolated and arrived at these figures? Be that as it may, that the fact remains that yes, it is a serious problem. It is going to have serious health repercussions, and morbidity as well as mortality are associated with the issue of air pollution. So there is straight away the issue of heart, lung, and pulmonary disorders. So this is something that we need to look at. And of course, the report, this Lancet Commission report says that anywhere between 1 to 1.5% of GDP is wasted or is lost because of the problem of air pollution. So if you are able to, sort of highlight these figures going ahead in your answers, it will make a serious impression in front of the examiner. We need to be able to discuss some steps, concrete steps that have been taken by Government of India even before we give our own recommendations. We should never be in a hurry to give our own recommendations. We should first accept the fact that government has been working a lot on this front. So we have put into place national air quality standards that they have been notified. National air quality index has been launched, and we can see this index being displayed via various news channels various times in a day, telling us how polluted, how highly or high, how moderately polluted our cities are. The government of India has sort of augmented its monitoring network, both manual as well as continuous as well as online. So there are various kinds of monitoring stations which have been put into place, manual as well as continuous as well as online. So they have also sort of attached continuous monitoring systems with big industries to make sure that those industries are not throwing out air that they shouldn't be throwing out, right? Government is pushing a lot on provision of cleaner and alternative fuels. So various kinds of fuels sort of fall into this category, and the latest one being the push for ethanol blending, as well as the push for electric vehicles, as well as the push for better quality of public transport systems. We were talking very recently, the Prime Minister was talking about sahi public transport, that is safe, affordable, holistic public transport. So that is something that is huge. The government of India has also put into place dust mitigation guidelines. Those guidelines are compulsory now. You cannot undertake construction just like that. You have to take adequate precaution. Some innovative steps are also being tried out. So this Pariya Yantra filtration and this Vayu thing. So the full form is wind augmentation and air purifying unit. So what we can see is that even in my city, in Thane, in Mumbai, I can see air filters have been installed. I don't know how great they work, but air filters have been installed along pavements which suck in dirty air and throw out pure air. Something like Kent air purifier ka bada bhai at the at the macro level, something like that. So these things are being tried out at various places in Delhi. So you can read about that in my note. And of course, we have banned the burning of biomass and all those things. Of course, many more steps have been taken, but I've just highlighted some major steps that have been taken, right? This is another big thing that is coming along is National Clean Air Program. Now, the details related to this program are not so openly and easily available as of now. Somebody had filed a RTI, and through that we were able to get this information. So these 6-7 new things are being tried out in this clean air program. So first thing is again augmentation of air quality monitoring station both in urban and rural area. And in rural area especially is very very important because it is severely neglected as of now. We are not monitoring what is happening much in the rural scenario. So that is something that the government is talking about correcting through this clean air program. More details are awaited. We are talking about creating 10 city super network. So basically what we are going to do is that across 10 different kinds of cities, different kinds of geographical locations, different kinds of economies, we are going to put into place this data station which is going to capture huge amount of data and will be able to sift through it to see what is actually happening. And we are going to use a lot of IT power, a lot of big data analytical power. That is something huge. And we're talking about putting into place air information system, forecasting system, plantation drives, as well as emission inventory in the sense that हमने कितना कितना टाइप का कौन सा पोल्यूटेंट कितना कितना कहाँ कहाँ से हमारे एयर के अंदर रिलीज करा है. At a national level we want to be able to sort of account for it. So now these are some, now these steps cannot be taken in a few weeks or months time. They are going to take a lot of time, but the fact that the government is talking about it is great stuff, that it needs to be acknowledged. These are some suggestions that we can give so far as curbing the problem of air pollution is concerned. So it relates to vehicles. The two of them relate to vehicles. Then there is electrify last mile connectivity, so that people are not burning biomass for their cooking and lighting needs and all that stuff. So indoor air pollution काफी कम हो जाएगा उसकी वजह से. We are talking about relocation of thermal power plants, and thermal power plants is something that we need to really have a relook at, given the fact that they are emphasizing so much upon nuclear, solar, and wind. Then we have also talked about waste processing. They have talked about again dust, and then there is of course the fact that we have to monitor a lot. So these are some of the steps that Niti Aayog has sort of suggested. Now, so far as way forward is concerned, so again, as I was discussing, we need to put into place a very holistic kind of a very national level kind of a policy, as well as implement that policy. Now we cannot be talking about Delhi every winter we talk about Delhi and we make a huge hue and cry out of it. But what about the rest of the country? We are equal citizens for crying out loud. Attention also needs to be paid to rural areas, attention needs to be paid to indoor air pollution, and of course we need to start looking at PM 2.5, which is considered the deadliest pollutant, जिसके ऊपर आज के दिन फोकस थोड़ा सा कम है. And at the end what we need is a comprehensive action. So this was about air pollution. So if the question comes along, make sure that you are able to highlight it in a very comprehensive manner, everything related to it. Thank you very much. Have a great day.